All right, so we have almost 50 people on here already. I'm out here chilling. So I'm in California. We've been on like shelter in place for 3 weeks, and we just got extended to May 5th. Who knows? It could be longer than May 5th, but we'll see. So I just want to jump on here. If you guys have some Amazon questions, go ahead and fire them in the chat. Um, I'll see what I can do to answer some of them. But right now is a really interesting time for Amazon sellers. I think we'd all agree. And I was thinking about it, like Amazon as a whole, like as a business model. I don't think there's ever before been a time where like you know having an Amazon business definitely seems like head and shoulders over the majority of other businesses, like franchises, local businesses, even businesses like SMMA, social media marketing. Like, how many businesses are closed down right now and don't want are cutting spend on everything? Yeah, what's totally cooking? Amazon. Like, even now, like some of Amazon shipments are being delivered. They say like an estimate like 2.5, 3 weeks out. I've ordered some of those and they still come in like a week sometimes. But even despite that, like I have some products that say they don't ship for like 2.5, 3 weeks, and they're still killing it. Like they're still selling a ton. And this might sound crazy, but I've actually in the last month have made more profit than I did during December. Like the last 30 days during this whole like economic crisis, health crisis, I've made more profit on my Amazon account than I did in December. Like that's pretty crazy. And that's with and I don't sell like a bunch of essential items. I would say maybe a quarter of my product catalog are showing shipping times within like 3 to 5 days, and the rest of them are like a lot of things on Amazon, which is showing like 2.5 up to 3 weeks for delivery. And I've still made more than I did in December, right? So even with those delayed shipping times, like where are people going to go to buy stuff? Are they going to go like they still like Amazon's still their main option. So I think it's pretty nuts. Also, um, think of how many people right now are signing up for Amazon accounts. Like everyone's sitting at home and they're like, I need to buy X, Y, and Z, and I don't want to go to the store. So what are they doing? They're like calling up their grandkid, or they're calling up their relative, or they're finally like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for a Prime account so I can get some of these essential things in like 3 to 5 days. It's pretty crazy. And then once this whole thing passes over, all of those people who signed up for Amazon accounts, they're gonna be just as hooked on Amazon as us as buyers. Like I remember when I didn't like buying on Amazon because I didn't like the whole return thing, and then now you can just like print a label out and just slap it on the box and leave it outside your door, and UPS will come pick it up for almost free sometimes. So think of the tens of thousands of people who are adjusting. For example, like think of how many people are downloading Zoom accounts. Like think of how many businesses that didn't think they could like run out of like a business, an office space, right? And then now their whole thing is being run remotely, and they're using things like Zoom. Like if you look at Zoom, I bet there are like hundreds of thousands of Zoom accounts that are being downloaded right now. And all these people are having to learn how to use Zoom. And then once this whole thing blows over, guess what they're all going to have? They're going to have this knowledge of using Zoom, and when they need it, they're going to use it more. And as businesses adjust, they're probably going to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe half of our staff can not work, at the office anymore, and we'll just use stuff like Zoom. So, so even now think of that same like principle when it comes to Amazon. Like how many tens of thousands of people are forcing themselves to learn how to use Amazon to have Prime accounts. And then once this thing's all over, they're gonna be like, wait, so I was using Amazon and signed up for a Prime account, and I was getting my stuff 3 to 5 days, and now you're telling me that it'll get here tomorrow for free? Yeah, so I'm excited about like the opportunity of how many people are signing up for Amazon, because it's like the only game in town right now. Also, when you think about like what are the two main investments like people put their excess money? Especially the older generation. The older generation, they're like 401k, I put in the stock market, I get into mutual funds, I invest in this, I invest in that. Well, if you look at the stock market, like every bit of gain that anyone had like over the last 2 or 3 years, for the most part, is gone. 1 month lost all gains they had for years, right? So that's the first spot people are putting their money, the stock market. What happened to it? $5 trillion was lost in the last month. That's everybody's like investments, all that stuff. Now, if you were to say like, hey, Amazon sellers, like all third-party sellers like myself and other sellers, right? If you were to ask them, hey, have your last 2 years worth of profit been wiped out? Is your entire Amazon business worth less than it was 2 years ago? Or like, is it like completely like not worth anything? No. In fact, like I just said, my Amazon business this past 30 days made more money than it did in December of Q4. So I think that's pretty nuts. Like, where does everybody's like safe, the best investment? I put in the stock market, I put in 401k, all this stuff. What happened to all those people? What happened to all their investments? They're starting at the bottom again. They're starting at the bottom again. There may be some like people who think they're like savvy investors with the stock market, but trust me, like 98% of people who talk about the stock market have no clue what they're doing. That's coming from someone who was on the stock market every day trading for over a year. That was me. Now, what's the other thing that people put their money into besides the stock market, like their investment? Real estate, right? So when you think about a real estate investment, thankfully, like the appreciation that's happened over the last 2 years, like the stock market, hasn't just been totally destroyed. But what's happened to unemployment rates? 6 million people. So what was it, like a week and a half ago? It was 3 million, and then last week now it's 6 million are filing for unemployment. Like, are they out of jobs? Well, the majority of those 6 million people, what are they? They're renters. A lot of them are renters. There's a good portion of them that are going to own property, but like the large majority of those guys are renters. And now that they just passed a notice that said, hey, you can't get evicted for like 90 days. You know who's stopping us stop paying their rent? Yeah, these people who are out of jobs, If you look online, there's even like well-known people who own these giant apartment complexes that are like can't find tenants, right? They can't find tenants. Well, think of another business model, Airbnb, right? That's another thing. People are like, real estate, I'm going to get some real estate, I'm going to get an Airbnb. So I know in my state of California, they just outlawed vacation rentals. You can't even do that. You can't even have, because they don't want people like multiple people coming in the same place. So they have all these people who are like, where's their investment? Where's all this income? And so it's really interesting times, because it even despite having like sometimes 2.5, 3 week shipping time frames for the last little while on an Amazon business, I can see from having over 120 products, that tons of people are still buying. It's kind of crazy. If you watch my last video where I talk about just one product in the worst hit marketplace, economy, which is Italy, and that one product alone can make $50,000 profit, it's pretty crazy. Also, let me see. One of the things also I want you guys to think about is, this is what seasoned entrepreneurs, this is how seasoned veterans of the entrepreneurial game think. When everybody's going one way, right? Everyone's going one way. We look the other way, and we look for opportunities the other way. So where is everybody going right now? Everybody's panicked. Everybody's like, okay, I'm staring at the news. I'm not leaving my place, which I say, hey, don't leave your place. But they're afraid. They're afraid to do anything, basically. And I understand, worry. But seasoned like entrepreneurs, like myself, when everyone's panicking when it comes to business, we're keeping it calm, because we realize that, when things are crazy, that's when a lot of opportunities arise. And I'm not talking about opportunities to make money off of people because of like the distressing situation. But when everybody else is like, hey, I'm afraid to even get into Amazon, things like that, I'm looking at it like, so wait, you're telling me that in some markets on Amazon, there are less sales? You know what that tells me? That tells me, oh, this is my opportunity to get into those markets, to be able to rank faster because they require less sales. And then when the thing heats up again, guess who's at the top? I am. So how are you thinking? You know, are you like, oh my goodness, I'm afraid of like even thinking about starting an Amazon business. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, all the people who are going to kill it and who keep killing it are the ones who are like, now some amazing opportune time. And that's how I'm thinking. I'm like super pumped. Like I've been looking at my sales in the EU, and it's crazy. Like in UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, all these places where like you would think like things are going to start closing down and like no sales. No, it's like the opposite. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, I wanted to like come and kind of give some clarity and some things like that. Like if you look online, people are being laid off everywhere, right? People are losing their jobs, people are being laid off. You look up Amazon, what are they doing? Hiring 100,000 people. You know what that tells me? Amazon, Jeff Bezos is hiring 100,000 people to help work for me right now. I'm thankful, I'm appreciative. Instead of like me having a business, imagine me having a business and I hear that part of what my business, the platform that my business is built on, is laying off tons of people. I'd be a little worried, but it's the opposite. The platform where the majority of my business comes from is hiring 100,000 people. That's pretty comforting. So, as a seasoned entrepreneur myself, I'm telling you guys, like when everyone's panicking, that's when you gotta like try to see through that. Keep a cool booty, make some smart, wise decisions, right? Look to see like what are successful entrepreneurs doing around this time. I'm not saying try to make money off of people during this time. I'm saying look for opportunities, okay? Anyways, if you guys have some Amazon questions, go ahead and fire them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. It looks like we got about 80 people on here right now from all over the world. Again, one thing I can tell you is I cannot predict the future on certain things with Amazon, such as when are they going to allow me to, send my next shipment in? I can't predict that. I'm not like, I don't have a magic crystal ball, but I'm in the same box as many of you guys. And one of the things though, I'm going to tell you this real quick. So many people are freaking out about like they can't send a shipment right in because they've kind of paused it for a little while. They said April 5th is when you can start creating shipments. So it's been about 2 weeks since you couldn't create a new shipment. But what have I been telling all my students, and what do? We create shipments within Amazon months before we actually need the shipment created. Like, so just think of it for a moment right here. It takes 30 days typically for your product to be produced, all right, by a supplier, 30 to 35 days. And then it takes about 30 days if you're doing sea shipment, 10 days, maybe more if you're doing an air shipment. Well, what newbie sellers and rookie sellers do is they don't plan ahead, right? They're like, hey, you know what? Production's finished with my shipment. Now I'm going to go into Amazon, right? And what I try to tell my students is, hey, right when you put your order in with your, so where a lot of sellers may be like, man, I can't believe Amazon. Is it really Amazon, or is it potentially you who did not plan ahead, right? So again, right when you place your order with your supplier, that's when you need to create your shipment. So am I creating any shipment that I would create right now would be for something that would be arriving in like 2.5 months from now. That's how much lead time I give my shipments when I create them in Amazon. And you may say like, well, what if I don't have a shipment in production? Guess what? Does it cost you any money to create a shipment within Seller Central? Like if you were to pre-queue up, like let's say you usually order 2,000 units at a time. Is it going to cost you any money to queue up a few different shipments within Amazon for the future? It doesn't cost you a thing. You can cancel those shipments and it doesn't cost you a thing. So whereas my students, myself, have created shipments that we know we're already going to need in the future. Everybody else who is waiting to the last minute, who's like, now I'll like create a shipment because now my thing's produced and I want to get it here in 10 days. They're kind of screwed right now. Anyways, let's get on with some questions. I'm done ranting. What can you do right now to maintain our business? My inventory is drying up. Well, first off, I recommend placing orders a little further in advance and not running it super lean. But if you don't have any inventory right now, just got to play with your price. Start inching it up so you can maximize the profitability before you run out of stock. Let's see here. Jay Dwayne says, Tim, how much FBA inventory do you have? When will you run out? What is your plan? Let's see here. I'll give you an idea of how much inventory I have. So before I show this number, I want to tell you guys, like, there are larger sellers than me that sell on Amazon, okay? But the majority of larger sellers that sell on Amazon, that run a business even kind of like mine, they usually have huge teams, warehouses, tons of business partners, okay? I started out just myself, right? And I have 0 business partners. I don't have an office space where I have big, huge meetings. I don't have a gigantic team. I don't have crazy overhead. I don't have warehouses, nothing like that, okay? It's myself. I have 2 full-time US-based assistants, and then I have about 3 to 5 part-time virtual assistants who are overseas, okay? Like, that's it. That's my entire team. So don't feel like, you're gonna see, and there's other people who are on YouTube and stuff who have 8-figure accounts like mine, but you'll see they have like 100 employees. They have all these business partners. They own like 10% of the business, okay? When you divide that out between all of the different owners, all the different partners, all the different investors, it's not too crazy. But I want to show you guys what's possible, even being a somewhat younger person and having a super lean team, okay? Chilling in this place where I'm at right now, shelter in place for now 3 weeks, and I'm going on another month, all right? So how much inventory do I have? 1,000 units, right? So that's an idea of like, that's all my products, right? With my cost of goods inputted into Shopkeeper. That's how much inventory I have, right? And I have, in the past month, so last month, I shipped 20 40-foot containers, okay? So that's how much I have coming, and that's how much I have on hand right now, and I have even more coming. So that's what it looks like on a larger business like mine. So again, it needs to, like, in order for me to be like at all like concerned about my inventory, Amazon would have to stop incoming shipments for over a month from now. Otherwise, I'm totally good. Planning ahead. Suppliers in China are kind of quiet, and it seems there might be a new outbreak. Is that such a thing? I have no idea. All I know is every single one of my suppliers, they just keep asking me, like, how are you doing? Do you need me to send you some masks, some face shields, things like that? I haven't seen. They've all been telling me everything's totally fine, but who knows over there? Let's see here. Antonio says, I'm looking at a product which is patented, but there seems to be a couple patterns on this product, but like a few different companies, which is odd because they all look very similar to each other. So if there's a product, okay, so I'll tell you real quick, right? When it comes to patents, there's 2 types of patents. There's a design patent, there's a utility patent. A design patent has to do with the ornamental look of it, all right? A lot of times those patents, it'll have a D in front of the patents, and then it'll describe it in detail. You can look on Google Patents. You can maybe even sometimes hire a guy on Fiverr to do a patent research for you. Design patents are the easier ones to get around. You just change one thing kind of on the design and you can usually be okay, all right? Utility patents are different, and usually a utility patent, it'll be a U in front of the patent number, okay? You can see that on Google Patents too. And that has to do with how the product functions, all right? And that's really hard to get around, how a product functions, all right? So if it's a utility patent, it doesn't matter if there's different colors, all that stuff. If it functions the same way, you could get hit, right? Now, if it's a design patent, however, like you can change different things on design, you should be okay. Whenever there's something that you're really concerned about this, before investing thousands of dollars in a product like this, I would definitely hire some type of patent professional who can look it over for you and give you a good idea, like, hey, this is a go, or hey, it's not. Don't go cheap on something like that, especially if you can already see that there's a patent there, all right? Let's see here. Amin says, is it a good time to start? I always say, hey, when everyone else is running for the doors, that's the time. When everyone's running for the exit door, that's where I run for the entrance door. When everyone's selling, that's where I'm like, now's the time to triple down. I forget the famous investor who says, the time to make money is when there's blood in the streets. And right now, everybody's afraid. Like seasoned veterans who've been selling in Amazon a long time, they're like looking at all these opportunities. Whereas brand new people who are usually typically already afraid, even under good marketing conditions, they're super scared right now. So do I think it's a good time? Yeah, you got to be smart with your money, of course. I wouldn't say like just go savage mode in it and just like drop all your life savings into it. But yes, I do think now is a decent time, at least to learn, right? At least to start learning, because the learning curve with Amazon and private label is not just like, oh, I'm going to buy something at the store and sell it on eBay. No, there's a lot to the process. There's so much to the process. So now is a great time to actually get the education. And if you, after you get the education, you feel like you can make some sound decisions and you have some good support around you to help you, validate that your ideas aren't nuts, then yeah, I think it's an excellent opportunity to take advantage of this while all the other people are afraid. Oscar says, are you still running PPC for your non-essential products? I also have had records profits this month, but I'm mainly in an essential category. So for my non-essential products, I definitely have lowered my budget. I've noticed that conversion rates aren't that great. So you can, either lower your budgets or you can lower your bids until you can try to find that middle ground of when the ACoS is profitable again. One thing you can do though is like download a bulk file so you have like a history of where your bids and everything were. That way when the market flips around, you can throw back in your old bids and everything and it'll come back pretty quick. Hey Tim, to get my shipment in as soon as possible, I'm going to ship it to my house, then ship it to Amazon when labels can be created, but I've never done it this way before. Do I just create the shipment plan on Amazon and pay for it through there? Will the shipping company come to my house and pick up the inventory? Okay, so Riley, you can do this, but the shipping company will only come if you're shipping like UPS ground. And yes, you can go into Amazon and have them like give you the labels, but it's only for UPS ground, right? You can't do like LTL, like big pallet shipments. But it sounds like if you're shipping it to your house, you don't have that big of a shipment. So what you're planning on doing should be fine. And doing this will make it so that there isn't too much delay, right? Because ship it to your house, if you're shipping it, by air, maybe that's 2 weeks. And let's say the shipping plan isn't ready yet. Then you can slap those labels on. You can either trickle it into Amazon or you can ship the whole thing in. Are you planning to launch new products in the second month or two? So I've actually slowed down on product launches. Like I think in the last 3 months, I probably had about 15 new products. But I don't have any brand new anythings in production right now, new product ideas. I have product ideas in my head, but nothing I'm executing on. I'm really trying, like one of my main goals this year is to continue building better systems for my Amazon business and really working hard on my inventory management, because last year I had I had too many stockouts, and the opportunity cost of stockouts sometimes is a lot greater than the opportunity of getting a new product. So this year I'm really trying to hone in on my systems, really trying to hone in on my like inventory management and make sure I'm maximizing all the products that I already have, because I have been launching products non-stop for like over like 3 years straight. And I need to chill a little bit before it gets too crazy. All right, Justin says, I only heard of FBA last month, believe it or not. Found Tim and spent last week, watched almost every video. Question, just found a product. Do you reckon just launched to have a feeling about the entire process? So you get the most knowledge by doing, for sure. Like there's no shortcut for experience. I'm not trying to pitch my training at all, but you can skip a lot of hurdles if you have training by somebody who knows what they're doing. Like why try to reinvent the wheel, try to figure out the blueprint on your own? It's funny, I have met people who they're like, I want to find success, but I don't want anybody else besides myself to get any credit for that success. So I refuse to purchase a training or to learn from anybody else. And I've done this for other types of things in my life, and I figured it out on my own, and I'm gonna figure this one out on my own too. And you know what I say? Do it. And if you need some help, you know where I'm at. But if you can figure it out on your own, cool. But think of how many thousands of sellers are trying to get on Amazon. You need every competitive advantages possible. If your product is super cheap and you have a ton of money or whatever, yeah, go ahead and try it. Like throw it up there and see what happens. Otherwise, I highly suggest before you just waste your money and totally fall in a pitfall, because check it out, Justin. If I have a couple hundred students and they compete against you and they have everything that I know at their disposal, every freelancer to make the best photos, the best copyright, and the best listing, PPC techniques, everything there is, you versus them, I just hope that you don't come in competition with any of my students. If you feel confident about it, go right ahead though, man. Or give myself a bit more time to prop photos, packaging. Both approaches were advised in your previous videos. Man, I like to go in. I like to do it right the first time. That's one of the things I preach now. Do everything right the first time. Don't skimp on photos. Don't skimp on the copywriting. Don't skimp on the product. Don't skimp on product packaging. Do it right one time. You never have to do it again. Aim Dreams. Do you use dropped sales situation in some niches? I'm not sure what you're talking about here. I do lower my price sometimes and blow out a bunch of inventory, but that's about it. What are the difficulties at this time for me as a beginner? There are difficulties now, like if you're trying to do product research, because like the market right now, if you look at it and you use all the tools, you're going to get data that isn't really accurate because it's not a normal market right now. It's like sourcing during Q4. So I give some tips like within my group on how to like compensate for things like that. Can you please explain what should be our newer product validation process for non-essential items, because helium-10 data I'm expecting not to be accurate? So I would still say that data is accurate, but you can't really use the sales numbers that's happening during a crisis and then think that that's what it's going to be like forever in the future and base your whole business off of it. You got to look at some other things. Hi, after I have my brand registry, can I sell new products under this brand registry? Thanks. Yes, you absolutely can. So when you create your listing and then it asks you what the brand is, just put that brand that you have brand registry from and you're good to go, my friend. Hey, Chow, all my competitors increased the price 150%, sound like crazy, non-essential products, interesting time. It is, it's pretty crazy. Carl Black. Hi, Tim. I want to have one of my suppliers shipped directly into Amazon warehouse, but they're saying Amazon requires FDA approval certificate. Have you ever had a situation like this before? And how do you handle it? So I try to um, I try to stay away from things that need special certificates like FDA approval and stuff like that. Because usually those are going to be higher liability products, and you definitely need product insurance on something like that. And if you don't have the proper certifications, they can just like cut you at the knees, and it costs a ton of money to get FDA approval. So um, I don't mess with a lot of products like that personally. He's asked this question a few times, so I'm going to address it. How do you defend against black hat tactics by competitors? So check this out. A lot of people worry about things, all sorts of things. They worry about negative reviews. They worry about like if their product doesn't sell right. They worry about like, oh, what happens if I could get my account suspended? Like so many worries people have. And here's a worry that some people have. How do I defend against black hat tactics by competitors? And really there's not much you can do, but I will tell you from personal experience, having over 120 products, I have yet to have one product targeted by some black hat competitor who's doing something crazy against me. I have had competitors who maybe here and there get some fake reviews, but all that stuff catches up with them, right? All that stuff catches up with us. So it's not even something that I worry about. Will they lift the block on selling sanitation and COVID-related items after this pandemic is over? Your guess is as good as mine, to be honest, Martin. I'm not sure. There's certain markets and things like that may not be the same. For example, and I think they're just cracking down, right? Because you remember when they had the solar eclipse thing? There's a ton of people who came out with solar eclipse glasses saying they had all this proper certification to protect your eyes. And come to find out, most of them were lying. And then Amazon went after all of them. And so in this situation, when it comes to mass sanitation, stuff like that, Amazon's being very careful. They don't want something like that to happen again. And who knows when it's done, they might keep those high standards for it. Tim, do you have an increase in number of hijackers on your listings? I don't. Hi, I'm a newbie, belong to Pakistan. How can I start my FBA business? Save capital and watch every video on my channel. Mariana, one of my favorite students. I just found a good product to start with. Noticed Amazon doesn't let me create any order from that one. Should I start production with suppliers? Not sure when we're back to normal. I would start it because everyone else is not starting. And right when they're able to ship, then you'll be ready. Do you use 3PL for your own business? Only sometimes, and I'll just contact my freight forwarder who has 3PL, and I'll sometimes hold some items there, but not often. Is there anyone you recommend for patent service? There isn't, but here's one thing I will tell you, like on the coast, like on California and New York, people usually for services, they charge more. So if you're looking for a good patent attorney that's cheaper, like I would go more like Midwest or something like that. Just start calling some patent attorneys over there. And who knows, they might be needing some work right now, so you might be able to negotiate. And a lot of times with these patent service, they'll give you like a free on the phone consult. And if you talked about 3 to 5 of them like that, sometimes you can get all the information you need. Hi, Tim. Are some of your products stuck at customs? None are. Hey, Tim. I've had an issue where I had 2 shipping plans, one which is currently accepting inventory and a future one. Amazon checked in some inventory into the future plan and the wrong ACE. Any advice? This sounds like potentially you mislabeled it. If you mislabeled it, I would just ask Amazon to do a bin check and make sure. And if the product doesn't look right, sometimes they'll relabel it for you. Other times you just have to do a removal for it. Could you tell us, as a USA citizen, what is the atmosphere now in your state? Are people around panic or are they calm? Right now, it's pretty calm where I'm at. I'm in Northern California, but I'm not like going out and about. I'm trying to really stick to the whole shelter in place thing. I still see every once in a while like a mother and her couple kids going out for a stroll. I haven't seen a bunch of sirens or something like that. I think my area doesn't have too many breakouts of, you know, confirmed outbreaks. I mean, not breakouts. So it's okay, you know, where I'm at. Is Freightos a reliable company to work with? Yeah, so you got to realize that Freightos is like a broker, and they allow many freight forwarders to go within them. So Freightos is a good option, like a good site to find a freight forwarder. But within that, I would look for the reviews on the different freight forwarders. Is it even worth starting private label business nowadays, considering how challenging launching and ranking now is, plus the China situation? So check this out. Everybody who is brand new and who has not started on Amazon and who's listening, I want you to pay close attention to this. And don't let it hurt your feelings, okay? Don't let it hurt your feelings. There is a saying, for the one looking for an excuse, anyone will do. If you would like an excuse why not to start, you can find anyone. All right, you can say coronavirus, you know, uncertainty in the economy, things going on in China, tariffs. What about if, you know, black hat competitors? What about for the one looking for an excuse, anyone will do. If you have a fear-based mindset, if you have a limited or negative belief in yourself or the future, you can convince yourself that it is a terrible time. And you know what? Those same people, even when the economy comes back, will do the exact same thing. They will find ways to convince themselves, right? And even if you talk to a person like me, and I will say the opposite thing, it is so simple to go out there and find people who think the exact same of you as you, and who will have that same negative belief or look for an excuse and find one. It'd be like, look, that guy feels the same as me. I'm with that guy, and we're not going to lose our money by trying this thing. You know what I'd be more afraid of? I'd be more afraid of missing out on the opportunity. Missing out, right? Remaining exactly the same, doing the exact same thing, and when your 9 to 5 comes back and they call you back into work, that being the norm and the regular thing, okay? So, my answer to you, is it even worth starting a private legal business nowadays? Do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. What is everyone else doing? They're afraid, they're sitting at home, they're doing nothing, all right? And you said considering how challenging launching and ranking is now. Again, I don't know who told you that it's challenging. It's probably easier now than ever because sales are a little slower in a lot of categories on Amazon. And the way to rank on Amazon is by selling more than the people who are on the front page. So think about that. If there are niches, for example, like travel, are people buying luggages and suitcases? I'm not saying to get into travel, but that's just one example. You know, if you're talking about like at-home fitness, those sales are probably going through the roof. But I'm saying there are so many niches right now that people just don't need, right? Because, like I said, for example, travel. You think travel pillows and you know, different travel accessories are flying out off the shelves? No way. Does that make it harder to rank for those things? No, it makes it way easier. So if a product was selling 100 units every single day, and now because of this economic situation, it's selling 10 units a day, that means all you have to do is sell 12 units a day and you can rank. So remember, challenging launching and ranking is now, that's some pie in the sky thing that I've never heard. And then you said, plus the China situation. Last time I checked, every single one of my suppliers is not only back at work, but they're pumping out products faster than ever before. And they are ready. And they're contacting me all the time. Hey, Tim, you ready for the next order? I'm like, whoa. Okay, I see your guys are back in business. So, is it worth starting a private label business? If you're looking for an excuse not to, there are as many as you can count. Anyone will work for you to not do it, okay? I say do something different than the rest of the people who are all panicking right now. Considering how challenging the ranking is, it's not challenging. In fact, in many niches, it's actually easier than ever. Plus the China situation, there is no China situation right now. There is, at least in my business, 120 different products. many different suppliers, all different types of products, things are going amazing for me, okay? So again, I didn't mean to hurt any feelings. Just telling you on that one. Let's see who else we got here. Can you register for brand registry for a product that has a third-party UPC code instead of the GS1? Yes, you can. How quick did you get the ball rolling with your Amazon business? How many products did you start with? How quick did you grow? So check out the rest of this channel. It goes back to a couple years. I probably look even different than when I first started it. But I started with my first product. I only started with one. And after that, I scaled my Amazon business from zero to $800,000 in the first 8 months. Like, that's how fast I pushed it. I'm not sure you'll find anybody else like that, and especially people who have it documented. Like, I try to show my tax returns on the channel. I try to show my account all the time. But in the first 8 months, right, I did 800,000. Then the next 12 months, I did 4.2 million. Then the next 12 months, I did 8 million. And then the last 12 months of 2019, I did 14 million. Okay, so that's how fast I've been growing. I'm not saying you have to do that, but hopefully that answered your question. Joey says, learn first or you will lose money. Joey would know. I like this. This deserves to be on here. I'm going to eat my $1 USD burrito. Congrats. Jack Lee says, do you always get a final sample with your custom design box before you proceed with placing the order? No, I don't. I don't. As long as the product's good, like the sample came, a lot of times what you can do is you just ask your supplier like to make a video of it, to show it, and then get an inspector to go and check it out. You should be all right. If you're really concerned, have them airship that to you and you should be all right. All right, Martin says, hi, Tim. Thanks for the live stream. You're welcome, my friend. How did you scale from your very first product? Did you use the profits from the first product or you had saved a budget to use? So here's a great question, okay? It's very hard. It's, even if you talk to large sellers, I have quite a few students who are doing, over 300,000 a month now. They will tell you the pains of scaling, right? To get from like 50,000 to 100 to 200,000 a month to 500,000 a month, but getting from $500,000 a month to 1 million a month, which is where I kind of like try to hang out at, it is tough. It is tough. It requires a lot of capital, right? So I had been in the entrepreneurial space before private label. I never was online or anything like that, but probably 8 years. And I've always lived very simply. I didn't have the flashiest cars. I didn't have the biggest house. I didn't waste money. I saved money. All right. And the reason I did that is for when the next opportunity came. And I still am like that now. When the next opportunity came, I was ready to go. All right. So when I figured out about private label, I had money in the bank and it allowed me to just scale like rapidly. Now, most people in the world, in the US, they live paycheck to paycheck. And if that's you, scaling is going to be real hard. Okay. It's just going to take a lot longer than it did for my business. So what I've seen a lot of people do is, work multiple jobs, side jobs, cut things like cable or wasting money on eating out and finding any way possible to have more capital. And then when it comes to scaling my business, I still live pretty simple. I don't pay myself some giant salary. The only amount I take out is what is needed to pay my bills. And that is it. Okay. I still don't have a nice ride. I have like a 2006 Ford F-150 with like 120,000 miles. Right? Why? Because I'll get a nice car later on. Right now I'm trying to build a castle. Okay. If you want to try to build a castle, sometimes you got to like sacrifice in the meantime for that long-term thing. Okay. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I recommend doing. So yes, I had saved up money beforehand and it allowed me to go crazy when it came to this. And even now I throw everything back into the business. There are definitely different types of business people out there. I'm like total growth mindset type person. I'm not the type of person who like, I got to take half of my profit and put it, lock it away and never use it. I'm like, I'm going to use as little bit of this money in my regular life. And instead of having all this money sitting in the bank, I view that as like employees for my business. I'm saying, hey, why are you guys sitting on the bank doing nothing? Get back out there. Let's source some more products and let's make you more. Let's have you guys have some children, and then you have grandchildren, and all you guys can keep working. Do you help with product selecting? So you're probably asking about my training. Basically what I do is I go through like exactly my brain on product selection. And I go through like the whole process, and I have you look over my shoulder as I look at 3 products and how I vet them all. And instead of handing you a fish, right? And everybody wants to be handed a fish. Everybody wants to say like, that's why so many people fall for this whole Amazon automation thing, which I never talk about. But everybody wants to do work everyone wants to make money with doing no work. And so things like this Amazon automation that people are trying to do, they say, give us $30,000 and you sit back. And if you follow a lot of these people, they never get their $30,000 back. And they're wanting some pie in the sky dream. Well, I'm not going to give you a pie in the sky dream. I'm not going to hand you like, here's a product, source that, and you're going to be rich. That's not sustainable. And that's not going to help you grow as a business person, as an independent entrepreneur. But I will teach you how to fish. You know those people who are like, here's the difference, okay? Let's say you want to catch a fish. So you can do one of 2 things. You can go to the pond that they stock with fish, and you pay like $50. You get in there, you have to pay per fish, and they're all just sitting right there. Or you can go with the guy who is like fished for years, and he knows all the special spots, and he knows all the special techniques, and he has all the best fishing holes, and he has all the best lures, and he's like, okay, over here on this reservoir, this lake, there's this type of fish, and you need to use this type of fly. And when you reel it in, you need to jig it this certain special way because that mimics it the best, right? Is that guy like hooking the fish for you, like at the pond where you don't do anything? No. And guess what? When the pond closes down that has the stocked fish, how are you going to get more fish? You're not going to be able to. You can't just buy your way to that. However, if you learn from that seasoned vet who is like skilled, like a master angler, when that guy leaves, you're going to have like this wealth of knowledge that you're going to be able to fish in any conditions. And so when it comes to product selecting, to answer your question a long way, I help, but in a way that is probably going to be the longest lasting help. And that is showing you specifically how I do it, how my brain works on it. And you're going to have a lot of people out there who are like, I'll teach you how to do product research. But then you ask them like, how many times have you done this and it succeeded? Like, let's say if somebody has like, you know, they're like, I sell like $50,000 a month. Okay, how many products did you find that made this? And a lot of them will be like, oh, I have 2 products or 3 products. So you've done this 3 times and found success. Okay, that's pretty good. But for my situation, I've done this over 100 times, different products, and all found success, right? So it's not a matter of, hey, do I think this works anymore? Or did I get lucky on those 2 or 3 products? No, this is not a matter of luck. I don't believe in luck. It's like when preparation meets hard work. That's what luck is to me, all right? Anyways, let's keep cruising. Let's see here. Hold on. I had to turn on the charger. Boom. We're still cruising. We got 105 people in here. Let's go. Shelter in place live stream. Let's go. All right, so where are we at now? Let's see here. Where was that? I'm going to put this comment back on there because it was so funny. I'm going to eat my one USD burrito. I like this guy. He's got his priorities. And when I'm done with this, it might motivate me to eat a $1 burrito too. How can I sell in the UK market and other markets? I saw my account. So just type in Amazon. Type in Google Pan EU, Amazon Pan EU, PANEU, and then you'll come to a site that's like selling internationally on Amazon. But you're gonna have to like go to sellercentral.uk and make an account in there. And start there. Let's see here. Aiden. All right, so Aiden's in my group. He sells over. He's probably close to 400,000 a month now. He says, "Hey Justin, I would also highly recommend you to buy the course and learn from there before starting because Amazon has so much details you need to learn from master them." True that. I remember when Aiden was like not selling 300,000+, and now he's killing it. Let's see here. Do you outsource product research, copywriting, as you mentioned? You launch a lot of products. Do you have some information regarding how to provide customer service through VA in your course? All of the above, except for outsourcing product research. I never outsource product research. Product research is like the bread and butter. Because if you don't do product research right, then nothing matters. I don't care if you're the best pictures, the best PPC ideas, the best this, right? The best inserts, the best product packaging. If you don't know how to do product research right, it will be to no avail, all right? So I never outsource product research. The most that I'll outsource aspects of product research is like I'll find the product, I'll talk to the supplier, and then maybe I'll ship the samples to my assistant, and I'll be like, hey, can you like deep dive into these and tell me what you find? Because I know she has hawk eyes and that she won't miss anything. She's like a mini me in that aspect. But yeah, I definitely outsource my copywriting, and because I'm not like one of my copywriters that I have in my training, she did copywriting for like 20 years for even radio ads. Like I want to find people who are masters of what they do, mastery level, right? The two photographers I have in my course, they went to like college for like 5 years to be photographers and videographers. Like I want mastery level. I don't care how good I am with an iPhone and filters or how great your Snapchat or your Instagram is. It does not compare to the guy who has like $20,000 in equipment and went to school for 5 years to do that, or the lady who like did 20 years of copywriting. Yes, I talk about how to do customer service through a VA in the training. It's actually pretty simple. Aiden, by watching free videos outside won't help them much. Of course, we're 10 times the price. Appreciate that. What do you do about Chinese sellers undercutting prices? I haven't had that happen actually too much. Because a lot of times, if a Chinese supplier comes in, they don't know the branding aspects as well as we do. They don't know launch techniques. They don't know a lot of stuff, right? And so I'm able to, and if you're good at negotiating, like the Chinese sellers aren't going to get that much lower price than you if you're good at negotiating. Jack Lee says, the product I am looking to source is a non-essential item. Should I wait till Amazon lets us create a shipment before I place an order or start production? I would start production. Because they are gonna open it, and then you're ahead of the game. My sourcing agent is great with sourcing in China, but not good with shipping. Do you have any suggestions? There's a lot of freight forwarders out there. The ones that I recommend, try Freightos. Freightos will give you a good example of lots of freight forwarders that can all bid on what you're offering. And talk to your supplier. Sometimes they have a good opportunity for you. Do you have to be VAT registered to start selling doing private label? No, especially if in the US. And there's like a threshold for like being over in Europe to be VAT registered. I am VAT registered in all the different countries. He is Bay Area playa. That's right. Yeah, area. Let's see here. Do I do a factory audit before you work with the supplier doing a product inspection? I don't do a factory audit. If you look on Alibaba, you can see like reviews. You can see how much sales they do. But yeah, I always do a product inspection. As an FBA beginner from Europe, should I start in the home market and then expand to US, or the other way around? Learning in the marketplace is the toughest competition. I would start in your home market. Right there, right in your back door. If you got to ship replacements, you can do it yourself. If you want to ship product to yourself and house a little bit and then ship it in a little bit, you can do that. I would start in your home market. To qualify for private label, can I just slap my logo sticker on the box, or does my logo need to be printed on the box? It doesn't have to be printed. I just like to come together like with a nice packaging, man. So I mean, some products don't need really nice packaging, but if your supplier will just put the logo on there and it doesn't cost anything more, I would do that. Have you ever used Alibaba freight forwarders? I have not. I have a spa just shut down due to the governor order, but I have products that I produce and now I will do everything on Amazon. Congrats. You know, sometimes things like this force us to pivot our business models, and it's the push that we needed. How do you manage PPC manually? Woo! Use bulk sheets. How many units do I buy from a supplier at once? I take the top 3 sellers. I find out how much they are selling daily. I get the average of that, and then I factor in production time, shipping time, and about a 2-week buffer. If you had to start from scratch again and you can only afford to do one product to start, how would you scale today? How would you use all your profits? Would you use all your profits on PPC? So it doesn't really work quite like that, like using all your profits on PPC. If I can only afford one product to start, how would I scale it? So if I can only afford one product, I would launch the product, but not with all my money, not with all my capital. I would leave some powder in the keg, right? Leave a few in the chamber. And I would only go after products that I could keep in stock. Because you got to remember that you're going to have to place your reorder several weeks after you start selling, right? Or else you're going to run out of stock. You don't want to run out of stock. Running out of stock is no bueno. So how would I scale today? I would work extra overtime. And if you can't work overtime, a lot of people are afraid of credit cards, right? But credit cards can be very useful, especially if they're used in a way that's very responsible. I use credit cards all the time, and I earn 2% back on everything. And what it does, it allows you to push back the payments on things, right? Leverage that. So, you know, for everybody who says credit cards are horrible, how many of you have paid all cash for your house? You didn't. Why is that? It's not. You don't need to. It's not smart. Why would you lock up all your money when you can get a loan and finance a big part of it and then make a payment, right? Similar with credit cards. It allows you to have access to like more inventory, things like that. So that's what I would do is like I would start with a product that my capital could keep in stock. And if I don't have enough capital to keep it in stock, I would keep saving money. I would keep saving money, keep piling it up. And then I would launch it. And then if I'm able to continue reorders and it seems very consistent, then I would maybe even venture to go to your bank, try to get a line of credit so that you could just keep it in stock, right? Because it's going to be like automatic. That's what I would do. And with PPC, it's just a part of the process. I mean, it's not like using all your profits on PPC. You turn on PPC like right when your product gets to Amazon, And then it's a matter of just adjusting your bids and budgets so that you're just not like throwing your money away, but it's a profitable way of advertising. Can I make money through Amazon as a 15-year-old? You can, but you need to be 18 years old to have a Seller Central account. So usually most young people, they'll have the seller account under their parents, and then they'll do all the heavy lifting. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. Correct. Have I been coached by Sam Ovens? Yes, I have. Sam Ovens, he's a great channel, and he has coached me a lot. I've learned a lot from him. Hey Tim, will you teach us how to sell in the US from the UK? Also, does your course offer in-depth PPC guidance? So let me break it to you. Selling from the US and the UK is simple. You just have to get VAT registered. You can use a company like Simply VAT, and then you just ship your products to UK and you sell the same. It's English, easy to go. Does the course offer in-depth PPC guidance? Absolutely. In-depth everything guidance, right? Everything. Have I had a failed product? If so, what have I done with it? Check out my channel. I have one whole video on having a failed product. I've only had about 4 or 5 failed products out of 120 plus, so I have a pretty good batting average. Could you join my course as a 15-year-old? You can, but so my training is not like open enrollment. You can't just go to a website and buy it and we let anyone in. We're only looking for specific types of people. We're looking for people who actually have capital to invest in their business, right? Because I don't want you learning how to sell on Amazon, but you can't like make use of it. It's pointless. You should save your capital and then decide to create a business. It's like if you want to start a restaurant, can you just go there totally broke? No. Like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to buy supplies? How are you going to hire workers? All this stuff. The same thing with Amazon. It's a real business. So you need to have some money to be able to invest in it. So we only work with people who have, minimum $6,000, right? There's tons of courses out there who will allow you in with no money, but you're gonna fail 90%, maybe 98%. In our training, we only let people come in if they have a minimum of $6,000 because you need some capital to really make a go of building an actual business. All right. In addition to that, you need to qualify in other aspects. We only want people who are motivated. I don't want a bunch of people who just like come into the training and sit around. I want to have fire students who are ready to kill this thing and who I want in our community because we have a very special community. In fact, most students who are in our student group now, they don't follow any other Facebook groups really. They don't follow any other YouTube channels because we have all the information there and we keep it very, exclusive. So can a 15-year-old join? Yes, but you're going to have to get your parents on board because they're going to have to sign up for the Amazon account, and you're going to have access to capital to invest in this business. When do you give up on a product? I'm selling 1 unit a day with PPC. I would give up on a product only after I have it fully ranked and a beautiful, amazing listing. And if at fully ranked, a beautiful, amazing listing at a great price and you still can't sell, then it's time to move on. How important is brand awareness through social for product awareness? For Amazon selling, it is not important at all. It's not so like if you're trying to sell like on Shopify or off of Amazon, you need to get traffic. It's all about traffic. And so what a lot of people do is they run Facebook ads, they run Instagram ads, they start, brand accounts on different social platforms to get people, to hook people in. And they're trying to find cold traffic and bring them in, right? The nice thing about Amazon, they do all the heavy lifting for us, right? They bring all the traffic. And it's just a matter of us putting a product in front of them. And most people, when they buy things on Amazon, they're not looking for like big name brands. They're just looking to see who has the nice reviews and who has a nice listing and that kind of thing, right? And then they make their purchase. So It can help, but it's not a requirement at all. I have a brand name that I want to trademark because I see someone in another country using my name. I already own the domain name. Assets, logo, business name. What's your advice? Go ahead and trademark that before they come to your country and start doing it. Hijackers discourage me. What's the best way to remove them? Best way is to get brand registered, so you can just boot those guys quickly through IP infringement. Otherwise, you got to do test buys and then report it. I'm going to fly through some of these real quick. Just going to speed through here. Did you apply for the PPP program or the EDL, the EIDL? I applied for it's called the Paycheck Protection Program. And basically, if you're a smaller business like mine and have like less than 500 employees, I only have 2, you basically can get a loan for like 2 to 3 months worth of your employees' wages. And then if you use that loan to pay your employees, so that because they want, as part of the stimulus plan, they want people to keep their jobs, then that loan is fully forgiven. So it's a pretty amazing deal. Mary, you said you had saved money that allowed you to scale at the beginning. How much do I need to get started? I believe people. I recommend, honestly, to save up $6,000 before you get started in building an Amazon private label business. It's Sebastian, part of my team. I'm raising funds by my training. I don't want to get scammed. Yes, he's on my team. And he's an Amazon seller too. Little businessman here. That's great, man. Thank you. Do I think 2020 is a bit late to start? If you're looking for an excuse not to start, anyone will do. But no. I see plenty of people still having tremendous success. Let's see here. I'll answer this last one, okay? What are your thoughts on MiniChat? MiniChat is 80% distraction, 20% useful. And the reason I say that is because people get so caught up in learning MiniChat and trying to figure out, and like, it makes you feel like you're like this smart techie person who like can do all this cool stuff and this and that. But realistically, they're spending like 75% of their time playing with MiniChat instead of trying to find new products or optimizing their existing ones. I'm not saying that MiniChat can't be helpful. It can, but don't be using up tons of your time. Do I use MiniChat? 5% in my business. 5%. MiniChat is here now. I think it's largely a distraction and it's not a requirement. I do teach in my training how to use it if you'd like to, but I don't even use it that much myself. Anyways, you guys, did you enjoy this live stream? Do you want me to go live more often during this shelter in place time? If so, hit that thumbs up button. We had over 100 people on here today. This has been going for over an hour. If you would like to learn how to sell on Amazon from myself and all the people who are having great success with me, I'm going to put a link down below this video and love to see you in there. If not, all good. And I will be back with more videos. All right. So again, appreciate your guys' time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Please stay safe. Please stay inside. Think of others, not yourself. And I wish you guys a lot of success. Remember, if you haven't started yet and you're trying to find an excuse not to start, there are plenty to go around. But what I suggest you to do is when everybody is scared, that's when you make the adjustments and that's when you double down on starting a business, all right? You guys take care. I'll see you guys later.